Hey, what's up guys? It's recently the 10-year anniversary of me being at this team, and everyone's put together some photos that have been taken along the journey, and I wanted to just, we're going to pick a few of them and talk through some of them. So here we go. I think I'm going to start off with this one, Bono and I, which I believe is, Australia 2013. Geez, look how young Bono looks. I think I look older there probably, but anyways, I remember that first race. I remember the decision I took to join this team, and I didn't let anybody influence the decision that I took. I wanted to make it wholly with, just from my own judgment and just no influence. Just really, there were people that told me that I should have stayed at McLaren. My dad said stay. Loads of people said stay. But something inside me told me that this was what was right for me. And got to the team, had my first seat fit with Bono, and I think people probably underestimate how long it takes to build up a relationship and a friendship and really get to understand how you both work. And especially that first year, I struggled with the car. We had some sort of a different type of suspension that I'd never had before, and I was struggling like crazy with it, but we eventually did get a win. And so I'll stop there. And speaking of my first win, I think that is it. Yeah, first win in Budapest, which has always been an amazing hunting ground for me, a track that I've really enjoyed. And I think this was really, if there were any doubts about the decisions, whether or not you were right or wrong, I think this was a confirmation that it was the right step. It was great to get back on the podium, and just solidifying the decision that the team took to be with me, to choose me. It's a picture of Nicky and I in 2018 in Australia, sorry. I miss Nicky so much. We had some of the best and funniest conversations. He was one of the funniest people I've ever met. I know he had been quite critical of me, and we hadn't actually met. So this is why I was at McLaren, and he was doing commentary, and he just had an assumption of who I was, and had these certain comments that he made. So for me, I'm like, Nicky doesn't like me. And I remember him giving me a call in 2012, and him asking me to come to the team. And I don't know if I even said, Nicky, you don't even like me, what are you talking about? But we met, and we had a really in-depth conversation. And he's like, oh, you're just like me. I'm like, yeah, Nicky, I'm a racing driver. No, you're a hard grafter. And so from that moment, we realized that we had a lot more in common than we both anticipated, and we had an amazing relationship. We used to fly together to races, particularly back from Japan. And he had the funniest stories that we would just be on the floor laughing, me and Toto, with the stuff that he would come out with. So he was such a fighter, and he's still very much part of the team. So one of the proud moments for me was Nicky used to always, if I did a good job, he would take his hat off, which he didn't take off for anything really. And if I did a bad job, he would do this, basically saying, give me my money back. So, but this was the race in Monaco in 2019, where I dedicated a helmet to him. And it was a really special day, to be honest, because we nearly lost the race. And I focused it was so important for me to win that race for Nicky. And I don't know why, but I guess it's because that was the weekend that Nicky, or that week that Nicky had left us. So it would mean so much to me if I got that win. And I remember nearly losing it. and I wasn't able to even enjoy the win afterwards. I remember getting back, I was so spent. I went straight to bed. I didn't get up and go to dinner. I didn't get up and celebrate my win. Of course, you're looking back, you're like, I wish I did, but I just didn't have the energy. I was so mentally and physically drained, and also just sad that I lost a friend. What's another good one? Oh, here's a good photo. This is Brazil 2021 with Valtteri and I. Valtteri's it was just such a great teammate and colleague. And when I talk about teammate, I don't know if people really think about it, but there's like a conflict of interest here in our sport. We've got 2 championships, a team championship, which we're hired to do, and then a driver's championship. And so our job is to score the most points individually or collectively for the team, but ultimately you want to beat your teammate. And so there's always this internal rivalry. It's always a very, very delicate path to walk down, and it's very, very difficult it's very easy to be on the wrong side and you fall out or whatever. Valtteri and I never fell out. We always just spoke on things. He was very much just like, he's got to do a better job, or I've got to do a better job if one of us beat each other. And we worked together to try and push the team together. So had amazing years together where he supported me and I supported him, and we still support each other today. And we travel together to races quite often, to and from races during the year. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Another good one, this is in 2020 with Seb. And this was a huge year for me, and I think for the world and for the sport, where there was such an uprising and an uproar of people finally standing up and saying enough is enough of what was happening around the world. It's crazy to think that we still today suffer from hate crimes, from homophobia, from racism, and this was a really tough year because I'd gone through this sport as the only person of colour for my whole career and life. And I remember coming to the first race and wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, and I remember Seb standing by me and taking the knee with me, and then after that just seeing him grow in terms of the confidence he had to come out of his shell and fight for what he believed in. And we basically stood arm in arm against lots of different causes when people said that this is not, politics don't belong in sport. Well, human rights is not politics, it's human rights. It's actually everyone should be treated equally, everyone has a right to be treated equal, and damn it, we have this huge platform, and it should be used for good. It should be used for inspiring people, encouraging people, sending the positive message rather than, particularly when there's so much negativity out there. So I was really, really grateful for Seb being with me. This is a race in Spa that I won in 2020. This is just after Chadwick Boseman passed away. And this is just me saluting him. And the reason for it is that as a kid, I remember, my mum still has them all my action figures. I had Lego and all these action figures as most kids have. And I was very much into superheroes. But there were no superhero model action figures that looked like me. There was none on TV, there was none in books. So naturally, I never ever thought that someone with my skin color could be a superhero. And so you play with these toys, but there was not like, oh, I could be one. I can be a superhero out there. And Chadwick Boseman showed the world, and particularly young black kids and young kids of color, that they can also be a superhero. And he was the first black superhero out there, and so unfortunately passed away from cancer, and he didn't even tell anyone. I mean, what an amazing man he was. So we miss him dearly. This is Silverstone 2021. Love that trophy. held it more times than I ever thought that I would deserve, but that's really been down to my team and all the British fans for their crazy, amazing, electrifying support through the year. This is, where is this? This is Japan 2019. We won the Constructors title as a team. This is just a fraction of the group of people, you know, courageous and determined and incredibly driven team that I get to work with day in, day out, and that I'm incredibly proud to be a part of. And when I see the faces of everyone here, it just reminds me of those ups and downs that we had, and that, you know, each and every one of us questioning whether we're on the right path, and then getting to where our ultimate goal was. So that's mega. This is a couple. I'll just do a couple more. This is me and my boy Roscoe. That looks like a long time ago. Oh, that's 2021. So Roscoe's been the mascot. I got Roscoe as a puppy, and I remember people telling me that I'd never be able to look after a dog, and I always like to prove people wrong. So yeah, that's my boy, that's my son, basically. Just do one more. Yeah. This is Brazil 2021. I think I think for sure my best race ever, and one of probably the most special race of my career. I was so proud to hold this flag on the podium because I had watched the news through the pandemic. I'd seen the horrific stories and felt so much pain for so many people around the world that were losing people to the coronavirus, and obviously Brazil had lost, I think it was over 500,000 people through that pandemic, through neglect from certain individuals, and you could just tell there was so much pain within the country. And growing up, I've always loved Ayrton Senna, so you know, I'd watch him when he's carrying a flag. And anyways, I qualified pole, and then I got disqualified for a wing that was 0.02 millimeters out or something crazy like that, and basically doesn't make any difference. I remember in that moment for me, I thought my heart just sunk because I knew that I had to win every race. And I remember in that moment I thought, it's over, I can't win this world championship. And just with all the work that we had done through the year, I just felt so deflated and so powerless. And somehow, and it's been something that I've been able to do my whole career really, somehow I was able to like move on. Like, know what, we're gonna get there. There's nothing you can do about the past. You move forwards. We can do this. And I just stayed in the evening and just put it aside. I did all the studying. I came back the next day, and I drove from last to first. And I saw one of the marshals holding the flag, and I stopped and grabbed it, and that was just one of the most special moments. And when I held the flag up on the podium, it was really just a signal to everyone within Brazil that I acknowledge you, I appreciate you, I appreciate Ayrton, and love Ayrton, always have since I was a kid. And you know, I think I was hoping that I would lift up the nation in some way, even though I wasn't Brazilian. So now I am Brazilian. So yeah, I think that's about it. And just this last one. This one's in Qatar, where I wore a rainbow helmet. For me, it's mind-blowing that we live in a time still where there are so many countries around the world, but you know, particularly a lot of human rights issues within the Middle East, women's rights, LGBT rights, and there are laws that restrict people from being their true selves. And I've always been a risk taker, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this whether or not they're gonna throw me in jail. I don't care what they're gonna do. I'm gonna stand for something that I believe in, and even if it kills me. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's like, I've got to do this. I need to show people that how important it is, and spark those conversations out there, put those that are in power on edge and feel that they need to have conversations about making change, because it brings negativity to their country, and etc. So did it, and I won the race, and my drive was like, I've got to get to the top of the podium, because then that'll make the biggest bang, the biggest awareness for it, and I did. So I was really proud of it. I still use it today. The team used it on the Star for a race. I think it has sparked more conversations, and I think I think the sport's starting to loosen up and open up more and more, but we still have a long way to go. So anyways, I think that's it. Thanks for listening.